was talking to my therapist today. I was talking to him about last week, the middle of the week, when I was in LA. And I was in the throes of probably the worst depression over losing this deal that died. And I was talking about how, despite the fact that I felt terrible, I was able to get up and do all the things that I had gone there to do. And I remember Wednesday night sitting in dinner with my friend and thinking to myself, I've had a headache all day. I kind of feel nauseous. Maybe I'll just skip this conference and sleep late and then just go home. And there's a time in my life when that's what I would have done. And then I was telling him how I went to the conference and how it occurred to me while I was at the conference the difference between LA and San Francisco, which is akin to the difference between New York and Boston, which is just that LA is just bigger and in a way more interesting. Like, it's a little crazier. It's a little more Wild West. People are every bit as smart and sophisticated. They're just sophisticated in different ways, and maybe their egos are bigger. And I don't know if it's their egos are bigger because they have to be to make it there, or because it's just a bigger place, so there's more room for their egos to open up and they feel freer to be themselves. But people are more like characters. It almost feels like being in a movie. And I was at a real estate conference, so you have some characters. You have some big egos and some interesting people. I was telling him how, like, one image that I have from the conference, and it's something that's similar to the East Coast as well. There are a lot of Jews in real estate. And in Boston, most of the Jews who are in real estate are not Orthodox. They don't wear yarmulkes. You wouldn't know they were Jewish. I mean, you could guess maybe by the way they look, but unless they told you, or by their last name or something. But in New York, you see a lot of Jews in real estate who are Orthodox and who wear yarmulkes. And it's the same thing if you compare San Francisco to LA. San Francisco certainly has its share of Jews in real estate, but most of them don't wear yarmulkes. And in LA, at this conference, there were a lot of yarmulkes. And it was just funny. I was telling my therapist, I was like, it's like everything is more pronounced. Like, the Jews are more Jewish. Like, whatever. Everybody's just more of whatever it is they are. And and I was telling him about kind of like this, meeting I had with this guy who looked really nondescript, and I walked up to him in the networking area and just introduced myself, and it turns out he's like this really, well-off, successful, kind of iconic real estate figure in Los Angeles, owns thousands of units of, multifamily housing, and just a really well-known guy in real estate circles. And I was just sitting there talking to him. Then these other people joined, and they all knew each other, and they were kind of joking around with each other, and it was like a Jewish guy, a Persian guy, this guy as white as can be, just like a really interesting smattering of people who were all just kind of almost out of like a real estate movie. And you just don't get that same flavor in San Francisco. In San Francisco, everything's a little more buttoned down. I think in LA, people feel more comfortable letting their freak flag fly. They just don't care. They just don't care as much, which is kind of really awesome. So anyway, I was telling them about this interesting day that I ended up having, despite the fact that there was a part of me that really didn't want to be at this conference. And I was just like so grateful that I am in a place where I can feel as terrible as I felt last week over the loss of this deal and still get up and go and do the things I need to do. Because if I hadn't, I would have missed out on that whole experience. And that's what I used to do. I used to miss out on life all the time. And I don't do that anymore. I don't let my feelings and my emotions stop me from experiencing life. And that's a beautiful place to be.